Tom and Huck had promised to go to the graveyard in the middle of the night to remove Huck's warts. They were supposed to meet late at night. When the clock began to strike the 11th hour, Tom woke up to the sound of a cat meowing. A neighbor yelled at the cat and threw a stone at it. The next moment, Tom jumped out of his window. Huck, holding his dead cat, was waiting for him outside on the street. The two boys left the village and walked toward the graveyard while everybody was in a deep sleep. It took them about 40 minutes to get to the graveyard, which was a mile and a half away from the village. Tom said, "Shall we try to take off your warts now?" Huck said, "No, not now. We must wait till midnight. Devils will appear after midnight. Let's wait." Tom said, "I agree with you." While the two boys were waiting for 12 o'clock, they saw 3 figures coming toward the graveyard. Suddenly, Tom grabbed Huck's arm. "Did you hear that?" "No, I didn't," said Huck. "Don't you see those figures over there?" "Now I see them." "Are there 3 or 4? 3 people." "Why are they here in the middle of the night? Do you think they came here to die?" "Don't ask me. I wish I knew." When the two boys heard voices from the other side of the graveyard, Huck said, "Oh, I wish I hadn't come." "Don't worry, Huck. They won't see us as long as we keep quiet." "I think they are devils, Tom. We're in trouble now. Can you pray?" "I can try," Tom said. "Wait, Tom. They are human." "Yes, they aren't ghosts. They are real people." "There are 3 of them," Huck said. The two boys saw 3 people coming toward the graveyard. One of them was Muff Potter, who was always drunk. Another was Indian Joe, a very bad man. The third was Dr. Robinson. The 3 men walked up to a grave, and the 2 boys became quiet. "Here it is," said the third voice. The moon appeared from behind the clouds, and they could see the face of Dr. Robinson. Dr. Robinson said, "Hurry up, keep digging." Muff Potter and Indian Joe started digging up the grave. They were digging out the body of Hoss Williams, the man who had been buried a few days before. Now they were digging without saying a word. Tom and Huck were so close that they could almost touch Dr. Robinson. Finally, the 2 men hit the coffin. They opened it and lifted the body out. Just then, the moon came out from behind the clouds. The boys could see the dead person's face clearly. It was Hoss Williams. "Here it is, Doctor," said Muff Potter. He held up a knife in his hand, "and the body will stay here unless you pay us more money." "I already paid you," Dr. Robinson said. "I paid you enough." Dr. Robinson picked up a board and hit Muff Potter hard with it. Potter dropped his knife and fell to the ground. Indian Joe picked up the knife and stabbed the doctor. The doctor fell on Muff Potter. There was blood everywhere. The moon went behind the clouds. It became very dark. The 2 frightened boys ran away as fast as they could. Indian Joe looked at the 2 men on the ground. The doctor took a long breath and then was silent. "Good," Indian Joe said. "Now that's over. 5 years ago, his father put me in jail when I asked him for some food." Indian Joe put the bloody knife in Muff Potter's hand and sat down to wait for Muff Potter to wake up. When Muff Potter woke up, he said, "What happened, Joe?" Indian Joe said, "He hit you with a board. You had to kill him." Muff dropped the knife. "No, I didn't. I never killed anybody. Tell me I didn't do it, Joe." "You couldn't help it, Muff. But I'm your friend. I won't tell anybody." Muff Potter was shaking and said, "I was so drunk. I don't remember what happened, Joe." Joe said, He hit you, and you killed him. I won't tell anybody." "Oh, thank you, Joe. Are you sure you won't tell?" "Of course," Joe said, "but we'd better get out of here. You go that way. I'll go this way." "Okay, Joe." Muff Potter ran towards the town. Joe watched him leave. Muff had forgotten to take his knife. "He'll remember later," Joe said, "but by then he'll be too afraid to come back to get it." He left the knife beside the doctor's body and walked away. A few minutes later, the moon appeared. The body of Hoss Williams, the body of Dr. Robinson, the open grave, and the bloody knife were alone under the moon. The graveyard was quiet again.